glass exploded onto the lawn like glitter from a piñata, the nursery window gaping open, and there, suspended in midair for one impossible moment, was our baby's carrier arcing through the air like a foul ball. On the porch below stood Betina Crowley, HOA president of Larks Meadows and full-time clipboard vigilante, holding a gardening glove with the certainty of a medieval bailiff. She announced to no one in particular, her voice steady and cold, "This is a community standards issue." Sirens were already sprinting toward us from the fire station 3 blocks away. My name is Nolan Pike. I write quiet code for a software company, grill quiet steaks on weekends, and keep my lawn so average it could win awards for mediocrity. My wife Anna and I moved to Larkspur Meadows 8 months ago because the brochure promised tranquil cul-de-sacs and neighbors who care. They did care. Betina cared so hard she would patrol at dawn with a measuring tape and clipboard, documenting every trash bin that exceeded the regulation size by even half an inch. She liked to tell new residents with genuine pride in her voice, "I am the immune system of this neighborhood." I said nothing at the welcome picnic because my survival strategy has always been silence and blending in. It did not help one bit. Betina's campaign against us started small with notes slipped into our mailbox on pale yellow paper. Wind chimes exceed 35 decibels per noise ordinance section 4.2, read 1. Unauthorized infant window cling visible from street, read another, complete with a photograph she had apparently taken. She escalated to surprise inspections, appearing at our door unannounced and claiming the stroller we kept on the porch violated the visual cohesion clause buried somewhere in Article 12 of the Covenants. She sent mass emails to the entire neighborhood about suspicious nocturnal crying at 2 a.m. and 3 a.m. The suspicious nocturnal crying was, to be clear, our 3-month-old baby doing what babies do. Then came the first real trespass. She opened our side gate without permission one Tuesday afternoon, claiming she needed to verify setback compliance for our garbage cans, peered through the nursery window for a full 2 minutes, and told Anna with absolute seriousness that the mobile's color palette was non-compliant candy tones that disrupted neighborhood harmony. I installed security cameras the next day. 3 days later she sent a cease and desist letter for unauthorized surveillance of a board member and demanded I remove them immediately. The threats continued. She filed a complaint with the county claiming our baby's crying constituted a noise violation. She sent certified letters about our doormat being a 1/4 inch too wide. She organized a special HOA meeting to discuss quote-unquote problematic new residents, and everyone knew she meant us. Anna stopped going outside. I started working from home more just to keep watch. The cameras caught Betina walking past our house 4, sometimes 5 times a day, always with that clipboard, always taking notes. Other neighbors started reaching out quietly, telling us stories. She had fined one family $3,000 for a mailbox that was painted the wrong shade of black. She had reported another couple to Child Protective Services claiming their kids played outside unsupervised, which was a lie. She had forced one elderly man to remove his bird feeder because it attracted quote wildlife unquote. The pattern was clear. Betina did not just enforce rules. She weaponized them. The day of the window incident, Betina appeared at our front door at exactly 9:15 in the morning with what she called a 2-person decor committee, which was just her and a yardstick. She announced in her measured, official tone that the carrier by the crib was visible from the street through a gap in the curtains, which it absolutely was not, and constituted a trip hazard per Article 7 subsection B. When Anna told her firmly to leave our property immediately, Bettina's face went hard. She pushed past Anna, open trespass captured perfectly on our doorbell camera, and marched straight up the stairs to the nursery. Anna followed, shouting for her to stop. I was in a video meeting downstairs and heard the commotion. By the time I got upstairs, Betina had grabbed the carrier with both hands and muttered a statement that the prosecutor would later play 17 times in court. "We can store this at the clubhouse until you comply with community standards." She lifted it high, our baby buckled inside thank God, pivoted like an Olympic shot putter with perfect form, and hurled it with shocking force directly at the closed window. The window surrendered instantly, glass exploding outward. The carrier flew through the air, spinning. Our baby, still strapped in, landed in our hedge bushes as neighbors screamed from their yards and driveways. I ran outside, my heart in my throat. The baby was crying but breathing. Paramedics arrived within 4 minutes. Police watched the camera footage twice, their faces growing darker with each viewing, then read Betina her rights while she argued about optics and procedural technicalities and claimed she was acting within her authority as board president. Everything that made Betina powerful, her mass email blasts, her procedural confidence, her friendship with the landscaper and half the board, flipped overnight like a switch. Officers documented forced entry, child endangerment, assault, and intent from her own HOA memos where she had written in all caps just 2 days prior, "Remove infant clutter ASAP before next inspection." The county prosecutor was a father of 3 and did not like theatrics, but he absolutely loved clear statutes and video evidence. Our ring of witnesses, neighbors she had previously fined for mailbox heights and unauthorized holiday decorations and lawn ornaments, formed a unified choir of testimony. The HOA's insurance company ghosted the board entirely after reviewing the liability exposure. The state's Family Services Unit dropped a binder 3 inches thick on the judge's bench like a brick during the preliminary hearing. Trespass, assault on a child, reckless endangerment, obstruction, and what the prosecutor called a greatest hits album of prior harassment spanning 6 years and 47 families. For once in her carefully controlled life, Betina's clipboards could not help her. Her attorney tried to get the charges reduced. The judge refused. Court felt like theater performed in bad lighting and uncomfortable chairs. Betina testified in a voice measured to 3 significant figures, each word carefully chosen and rehearsed. Her attorney argued community caretaking and good faith enforcement of legitimate covenants. He claimed she had simply been trying to prevent a safety hazard. Then the district attorney pressed play on the footage from 3 different camera angles. Betina breaking the plane of our doorway after being told to leave. Betina climbing our stairs without permission. Betina declaring this was about community standards while grabbing the carrier. Betina rotating her entire body like she was competing for a gold medal in HOA discus throwing. A hush fell over the courtroom, so complete you could hear the ventilation system. Then the DA introduced her posts from the neighborhood app where she had called infants noise violators and written with chilling clarity just 1 week before the incident. Sometimes you have to take action yourself when residents refuse to comply. He introduced text messages where she told another board member, "I will remove that baby equipment one way or another." The judge looked like someone tasting a lemon bar made entirely of bleach and regret. The verdict came down on a Thursday afternoon with the weight of a gavel striking marble. Guilty of voluntary murder as charged under state law's provisions for intentional acts causing fatal harm to a minor. The courtroom did not cheer or applaud. It simply exhaled as one. Betina stared straight forward, her hands flat on the defense table, finally out of rules to cite and procedures to invoke and covenants to weaponize. Sentencing day arrived 2 weeks later on a gray morning. The HOA board showed up wearing their matching polo shirts like a uniform of suburban solidarity, sitting in the back row. They learned, alongside Betina, that their directors' and officers' insurance policy had been canceled 3 months ago due to the volume of harassment complaints and liability claims. The judge outlined restitution to our family, civil judgments totaling $240,000, and a permanent ban from serving on any residential board or homeowner association within the county or any adjacent county. Community service, 600 hours of window replacement for public housing, all under supervision with no clipboards permitted and no authority whatsoever. Betina's face remained frozen, her lips pressed into a thin line, as the judge paused and looked directly at her. Then came the final detail delivered in a clear, firm voice. 25 years in state prison with possibility of parole after serving a minimum of 15 years. Betina blinked once, twice, 3 times in rapid succession. Her clipboard clattered to the floor with a sharp crack, and her mouth opened but no sound came out.